Fucking bitch!
This is Opium. Opium is one of the first of what feels like fully fledged face punch games made with a new scene system that was recently added within S&box. This game was an end result of a small team of developers, artists, and more at Face Punch deciding to create their own game to experience during the recent S&box Hack Week. Plus, the development time for this entire demo spans at least a good couple of weeks. To be fair, this is rather a demo than a full game yet. And the reason being is because Dan, one of the people who worked on this game, had shown more gameplay elements, including an animation for using a shotgun, which is currently not available in this version of the game. That means hopefully there could be some future updates to the game where they extend the story and content compared to what is being shown right now. As it was described by Tony Ferguson, one of the developers on this game, Opium is a PSX-styled love letter to those gritty melee-focused brawlers of the 2000s, namely the Condemned series. For folks that don't know about the absolutely wonderful and nightmare-fueled psychological horror game series Condemned, there's Condemned Criminal Origins and Condemned 2 Bloodshot. These games focus specifically on telling stories of both the main protagonist investigating a surge of serial killings in the fictional city of Metro, and the second game, which takes place after the first one, with the main protagonist essentially becoming a equally as insane and alcohol-driven psychopath dealing with psychosis due to the events that have taken place in the first one. The most notable thing that makes the Condemned series so potent in its addictive gameplay loop is the first-person focused melee combat. This is the main driving force for what you experience throughout both games, and this isn't the only thing that Opium takes its references from to use. The other element it also takes is its environment. The environment is also similar in terms of taking place in a gritty, broken down, and drug-ridden apartment buildings set in the rougher part of the city, and incorporating some weird hints of demonic and occult imagery around the building. The game doesn't really shy away from its anxiety-fueled introduction, which leads the main character taking a fall from grace down to the deepest depths of hell, or the bottom floor of the level if you want to be specific. Off rip, we get thrown, sorry, I couldn't help myself, into the immersion of the style that's very reminiscent of the PlayStation 1 style right from the get-go with the sound of lo-fi quality audio. We also hear, apart from the continued conversations the crackheads we just ran from in the beginning of the game have, talking more about what they're gonna do next. Obviously, they don't sound too happy with us, so we gotta do something about that by just trying to escape. Another thing that was very prominent back in the PS1 era was the way that the technology rendered graphics, specifically the famous warping or wobbling effect that happens whenever you make the smallest movement. This effect shows itself very well by specifically doing just that. If you move real slow, it replicates the same effect, while moving faster almost removes the effect as you continue to move forward within this game. While melee combat was a focus for the Condemned series, another element we have to juggle within this game is the stamina bar. Anytime you block, sprint, or jump, you will use stamina. So trying your absolute best to strategize and conserve your energy is very much needed for your own survival. These are crackheads after all, and they do have an infinite stamina glitch. Just search up crackhead compilations on YouTube if you want to see proof on that one. As we go through the level, we finally get to finding a flashlight in the hellhole, which also incorporates the same sway you'd see when looking left and right with the flashlight from Condemned 2, which is really a nice touch. Right next to it, we also have some garbage and junk in the way leading us forward. So what do? I let my intrusive thoughts get the best of me and tell me to punch it to see if there's any physics in the game, and yep, there it is. My brain is satisfied. Finally, we end up getting our new spicy weapon of choice by picking it up off of a dangling crackhead. I mean, okay, I think he's asleep, but his grip's pretty damn good for a crackhead. Traveling through the crackhead kingdom of West London, Westminster, we have some crackheads we need to deal with while also giving some incredible drug-fueled commentary before we enter. So I decided to give it a listen and...
Fucking piece of sneak in here for fucking kill him, fucking snap his fucking brains out, kill his fucking, kill him, fucking piece of shit, fuck.
count how many times he said the F-bomb and I'll heart your comment down below. Now here's the fun part, beating up the crackheads. Combat is pretty standard, as it was also described by Tony's description of the game as a rock, paper, scissors, shoe type of combat. In short, you have to make sure to strategize when to exactly hit the enemy and also block their attack, giving you the opportunity to do some great damage once you successfully taken out the time to block and then attack again. Now I will say this obviously wasn't perfect, because my main strategy is always to play on the defense by letting the enemy attack me and then proceeding to beat them down silly with my new crowbar that I just got off a upside down hanging crackhead. Okay, I'ma calm down with the descriptions now. But whenever I would back up to prepare for when the enemy would go and hit me, it seems like the AI wasn't sure exactly when to hit me, leading me to think that basically the enemies only attack based off of you not moving. Once you move, they can move to you and wait for you to stop and then attack you. I'm hoping that they would go and fix this, since positioning yourself is something that really does help in fights like these, and conserving yourself in a defensive position to then attack with smart precision does help if you're a player like me. The game does punish you if you don't properly block and get aggressive with hitting them all the time, making sure to let you know after you messed up from dying and then just laying there as your life fades from your eyes. The weapon selection so far that I've seen and experienced is only 2 weapons, which is the crowbar that we picked up earlier, and also the pipes that we can find based off of the pipe systems scattered around the building rooms. The pipes will definitely do some blunt damage, but for the crowbars, they're definitely going to hurt a bit more. In terms of damage, I really didn't see too much of a difference, and while it was interesting to pick and choose, thankfully there's no durability system in the game at the moment. The game's goal is abundantly clear. You run from crackhead, you get weapon from crackhead, you beat crackhead, you leave Westminster, and you go home with your life intact. The game's UI and objectives are also incredibly simplistic and minimal in terms of providing you information. This is by far one of my favorite elements of any video game, which is some good, simple yet informative UI elements. I forgot to also mention, there is also a kick mechanic within the game, but unfortunately I messed up so hard since I didn't know the key. Yes, I do understand I could have checked the settings, I know. And I ended up throwing my pipe over the enemy and just heavy attack hitting him with a crowbar over his head. This game is brutal AF. Towards the end of the game, we finally get the keys we need as we drop back down once more again and open up the door leading us to the exit we passed by in the beginning of the game, leading us back home and out of Westminster. Overall, the game is very solid, and while it's not perfect, it hits a special mark for me as I feel very nostalgic between the graphics, art style, and gameplay it takes references from, as it's a really good game to play over and over again. There's even a leaderboard for folks who are mentally inclined to see how fast they can get through the Crackhead Kingdom. I tried to do it myself, but I had no success because I messed up on the first block door. Also, I forgot to mention and left this in at the last part of this. The game has also a graphics settings that is completely separate from the general graphics settings you can change within S&box, which is kind of wild. Most of the time, you'd usually see this in what would be a standalone game you'd play, but I was rather surprised, as for those who may want to change settings within games, this is a game that allows you to do just that, which I haven't really basically seen at all from any other game on S&box. So is this worth trying if you have current access to S&box and your key hasn't been revoked for not being active after a couple months? Yes, please do give it a try. It's great, creepy, and awesome, and I love the genre and game aesthetic that this brings and makes me feel. Are you wondering how you can play it right now? Well, currently S&box is still in its developer program stage. And even though the keys went on pause since Gary and Facepunch started working on the C system 5 months ago, now it's properly out. So honestly, I'm hoping that they start releasing keys again for more developers and people who want to make games on S&box to give the new system a chance. Other than that, if you're interested in S&box and want to know more about it, then check everything known about S&box so far in 11 minutes or less. Thanks for watching.